from these companies, Alex, one particular company that is in focus and that is a part of BNSN lens today, and that is Indigo. They came out with their earnings over the weekend. My colleague Poonam is here to take us through how they actually fared in the quarter gone by. Poonam?
Well, Indigo's performance did come under pressure in Q4. They reported a Q4 loss which was nearly around 2x higher than the last quarter despite improvement in capacity as well as traffic. The revenue decline was fairly sharp but in line with estimates. The Q4 loss were on account of higher decline in revenues as well as forex loss. Overall, if you even look at their performance, well, there has been a slightly higher impact of supplementary rentals as well as maintenance, and also higher than estimated operational capacity was weaker potentially as the second wave began to escalate. In fact, the rise in crude oil prices has also driven a sequentially higher cash burn for them, and overall their operations have come under pressure. In fact, JP Morgan does state that revenue recovery is already priced in the stock. The stock is already trading at 25x FY23 P, assuming normal post-COVID traffic. However, there is limited scope for reopening trade upside in Indigo, and hence JP Morgan remains underweight.
All right, well, that sets the context for the conversation that we're about to have on Interglobe Aviations. We've got Kunal Bothra, who's joining in, as well as Sharmila Joshi, who's joining in. Thank you to the both of you for taking the time. Kunal, I want to start with you. It's obviously not a trade that a lot of people have gotten into on the basis of, well, just the fact that the business has been suffering, has been one of the worst hit on account of the pandemic. But on the charts, are you seeing anything interesting that can be played in the short term?
Good morning, Alex. Good morning, everyone. I think the price reaction. So at times we look at the news flow surrounding the stocks, and the price actions at times are completely in disarray as such with respect to the news flow. So compared to the pandemic, the highest affected stock of the most affected stock, one of them should have been Indigo, but the price patterns are completely different. Now you look at this chart. This is the YTD chart. So I've taken the last 14-15 months of price patterns for Indigo, and from those March 2020 lows, the stock was one of the few stocks which managed to actually start an uptrend much earlier than many of its other relative peers as well as the theme of the reopening kind of stock. So in that sense, I think this has been an outperformer. But what had happened was, so in the blue trend line, which I have marked up, was the phase of a very strong and a consistent uptrend for Indigo. But then in the in the yellow box, which I have marked up as a consolidation, you look at the last 7 months or 8 months of price patterns, it's been an absolutely tight range. Now, what is very, very interesting for chart patterns for Indigo, that after trading in this tight band for the last 7-8 months, it's now inching back towards a breakout. Now, this could be a big breakout for Indigo, so not just a time-wise correction, but more of a price-wise breakout for Indigo. And if this happens, we could be talking of a shift of range for the stock, and almost a 400 to 450 point jump on the upside could be possible. So something which is very, very interesting to watch out for. If I have to take a trade, I will definitely take a trade, post a breakout, which gets successful, and if gets confirmed with a lot of the other parameters on indicators as well, and the potential target range, expecting that the range would replicate on the upside, would be almost 400 to 450 points as well on the upside.
Good morning, Sharmila. What's your take coming in on Indigo? Do you think that this company will be beneficiary of the unlocked trade? Also, given that we'll still have COVID-19 around us, so the uncertainty will continue to remain on Indigo, right?
Yes, I think there are a couple of reasons why I'm sort of neutral on the stock. One is I was just listening to the sort of the brokerage feedback on the numbers, and I completely agree. I think a lot of the positives are priced into the current price of Indigo. And I completely take Kunal's point as well, that this has been one stock that has sort of outperformed. And, if you look at it from a sort of an reopen perspective, maybe this could be a story that people would like, because, at the end of the day, I think if there's one thing that most of us would yearn for at this point in time is to go on a holiday. And, if the possibility of that opens, you could see better occupancy rates, etc. for Indigo. But I think that, to my mind, the things that are sort of weighing down on airlines as a business are far more. One is, I think, of course, the increasing fuel prices, because I think that is always a dampener for, their profitability numbers. Plus, I think there are a lot of other costs as well, which we aren't because we're just getting carried away by this fact that, we are going to reopen and we will want to go for a holiday and fly. But does that really mean better numbers for companies like almost any company in the airline space, but Indigo specifically? Because there is a lot of costs that they will have to incur going ahead. There have been issues in the past with their engines, and then there is also talk that they will be replacing. They are also going to incur costs on that. So there are many issues here. It is not just a question of people flying more, because that's an obvious positive. But they've even had, for instance, certain corporate governance issues in the past. So we are not really taking all that into account now. We are just looking at it as a reopened stock. So from that perspective, maybe okay, you could see a little some upside. But overall, I think that this is a sector that I will continue to stay neutral on. Overall as a sector, and within that, I think definitely if I had to buy a stock, it wouldn't be Indigo, it would probably be Spicejet.
All right, so that's a take coming in from Sharmila on Indigo, as well as the aviation space has a neutral call coming in on the space as well as on the company as well. All right, on that note, we'll slip into a break in this edition of Buy Now, Sell Now, but stay tuned, more on the other side, so don't go anywhere.